What we're going to have here, guys, is factorize the following. Factorize 5n minus 2an minus 5m plus 2am. Key word is factorize. Factorize means there's no n equals, there's no x equals, there's nothing at the end. There's no answer to this question. It's just a makeover. Okay? Word factorize means that all the time. So what do we take out, guys? Take out n, and what we left with? N multiplied by 5 is 5n. N multiplied by what gives you 2an? 2a. Minus 2a, thank you. Automatically, the next bracket should be the same thing, but let's make sure it is. Take out m, what do we get? If we take out m, we get minus 5 plus 2a. And what we know is it doesn't match the bracket that came before it. Instead of taking out plus m, why don't we try taking out minus m? I'll show you another way how to do it as well, okay? If we take out minus m, what do we have? 5 minus 2a, because m times 5 minus m times 5 minus 5m. M times minus 2a plus 2a. And then finally our answer is n minus m into 5 minus 2a. Alright, another suggestion maybe, and I think one or two of you did this as well. You did a rearrangement, which is perfect. You brought the 5m and you just changed the two of them around. You said 5n minus 5m minus 2an plus 2am. You happy enough with that? And then you would have got 5 into n minus m minus 2a into n minus m. And you get the same answer. 5 minus 2a into n minus m. Everybody happy with that? Who got full marks for that one? That'll be 5 out of 5. Okay, good. 5 marks on for that. Now that's chapter 1 and chapter 2 stuff, okay? Next one. 36 p squared minus 49 q squared. Now, once again, you're looking at this one going, it's a factorized question. What does that mean? Factorized question, lads? Anybody factorized question? Just simplify it out. Now there's something you have learnt off. What you have learnt off is this. A squared minus b squared equals a plus b, a minus b. You have to know that off by heart. It's not in your tables. Now do you know what that means? Whatever a is, goes in the a position. Whatever is in the b's position, goes in the place where b is, okay? It doesn't have to be a specific letter. It can be anything that's in that space. So let me show you what I'm going to do. The numbers 36 and 49, they're very special numbers because they're perfect squares, aren't they? 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36 and 49. They're all 1 squared, 2 squared, 3 squared, 4 squared, 5 squared, yeah? There's a minus in between them. Squared numbers that are taken away from each other. The difference of two squares. Right? That's how you'd recognize it. Now I'm going to change 36p squared into 6p multiplied by 6p, or 6p to be squared. Going to change the 49q squared into 7q to be squared. In the a's position is the 6p. In the b's position is the 7q. So your answer will become 6p plus 7q, and then the other one is 6p minus 7q. Is that right? Who got that one out? Full marks? F5 again. Okay, good. So, next one. Now, what I'm going to teach us first of all is how to do fractions without a calculator. Okay? 5 into x minus 2. Now you're going to be kicking yourselves over this one. Minus 2 into 3x minus 5. Now there's a couple of things done here. I need to go over a couple of things with you here. There's a couple of really simple mistakes going on. Okay, here's the first thing. I'm going to go over some rules of fractions for you, right? That's the first thing we need to do. We need to really sort that out. Now if I have this, lads. If I have the number, I don't know, 5 over 6, right? Would everybody in the class agree that 5 over 6 could be written as 4 plus 1 divided by 4 plus 2? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
4 plus 1 being 5, 4 plus 2 being 6. Now, some of you guys have it in your head that you're able to cross off the 4s. What happens when I cross off the 4s? What's now your answer?
Half.
A half. But a half is not the same thing as 5, 6. So, and you guys are telling me, well, I've seen you cross 4s off before. How come I'm not allowed to do it now? Right, let me give you another example. 8 over 6. Okay? It's the same thing as 4 over 3, right? Now imagine I change 8 over 6 into this. I'm going to change it into 4 multiplied by 2 divided by 3 multiplied by 2. Is it still the same question? 4 multiplied by 2 is 8. 3 multiplied by 2? 6. The difference is the 4's in this question are being added. They're not being multiplied by everything on top. The 2 here and the 2 there, they're both being multiplied. Everything on the top is being multiplied by 2 and everything on the bottom is being multiplied by 2. Therefore, they're able to be cancelled. And 8 over 6 is still the same thing as 4 over 3. Let's expand on this a little. If I have this in my test, if I have x plus 5 over x plus 2, I can't cancel the two x's. What's the reason why I can't cancel the two x's? Anybody know? I'm adding them, not multiplying them. A similar question. 5x over 2x. Am I allowed to cancel the x's now?
Yeah.
What's the reason? They're being multiplied. Okay? Now, if you got mixed up with that, it's no bother now, okay? Now, next thing after that's been done is how do you take away fractions in first year before you start becoming overly dependent on your calculator? Okay? So this is why we taught you how to take away fractions in the first place. What you do is something like this. You have to get a common denominator, correct? Now the easiest way to get a common denominator is the 5 looks across at the other denominator and it goes, okay, the other denominator is a 7. I'm going to have a 7 as well. If I put a 7 on the bottom, what must I do to the top? 7 on the top. Likewise, the 7 looks across at the 5 and go, I could do it with a 5. So if I put a 5 on the bottom, I must put a 5 on the top. 7 by 3? 21. Minus 2 times 5? 10. It's got, technically speaking, I'm just going to keep them as separate fractions for a minute. Technically speaking, it's 21 over 35 minus 10 over 35. And then the answer will be, anybody? 11 over 35. Alright, now here comes the next, it's alright, tons of people do. The next biggest misconception of fractions is that when you're adding and subtraction fractions, you only subtract the top. So I'll give you an example. If you add half a pizza, I always do in terms of pizza, right? If you have half a pizza, you have a half, correct?
Yeah.
And if we half the half, what I mean by half and the half is if we multiply it by half, how much of the pizza do we have?
4.
Because 1 multiplied by 1 is 1. 2 multiplied by 2?
4.
4. That's multiplying.
Yeah.
Multiplying, you multiply the top by top and the bottom by the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay. However, if we have a half plus a half plus a half is a full pizza, correct? It will equal 1. But if you do the same logic there, you go 1 plus 1 is 2, and then 2 plus 2 is 4. 2 over 4 is still a half. That's completely wrong.
Yeah.
You only add the tops together, not the bottoms. So when subtracting and multiplying, you only add the tops together, not the bottoms. Did you get that? Okay, so hence why this stays as 35. Okay, now looking up at this question, we're going to do exactly the same thing that we did with our first year fraction. The x minus 2 has a look over at the 3x minus 5 and goes, well look, I could do with a 3x minus 5. Okay, so what I'll just do, oh there. There we go. Okay, so what we're going to do is, it's going to look up at the other one and say, I could do with a 3x minus 5. So I'll go, alright, 3x minus 5 top, 3x minus 5 on the bottom. You guys happy with that? The 3x minus 5 looks over, what does it want top and bottom now? x minus 2 and x minus 2. Now, like our last question, we got 11 over 35 as our last answer, didn't we? We just didn't get rid of the 35, did we? Did the 35 go anywhere? No. So you're confusing a solved question with a simplified question. A solved question will have x equals something. Simplified question will just have an answer, whatever that answer is. Okay, so what I mean by that is it'll just have a rearrangement. Okay, so 5 times 3x, 15x, 5 times minus 5, minus 25, minus 2 times x, minus 2x, minus 2 times 2. Anybody? Plus 4. Now, on the bottom, you don't have to multiply out the brackets. You could, but it won't make a difference. So you can just keep them as being multiplied by each other. Now, 15x minus 2x. Anybody? 15x minus 2x? 13x. Minus 25 plus 4. All divided by 3x minus 5 into x minus 2. Is that alright? Yeah. Alright. Yeah. This question in your test was a simplified question. Simplified questions don't necessarily have to have answers. They can still have letters and numbers in them. It was a solved question. Solved questions 99% of the time will have something like x equals 3 or x equals minus 5 over 2. Simplified questions, it's very common for them to have a fraction part, x and a y even. Okay? You good with that? Alright. Long division. Now, long division would be something that I was looking for us to be reasonably strong at. Nothing you haven't done before. So let's begin with this. We had x cubed plus 3x squared minus 4x minus 12 all over x minus 2. You always check the first part here with the first part here. What's x cubed divided by x? X squared. Once you do that, what's the next step? You multiply x squared by x and you get? No, x squared. You haven't done that just yet. Next step. X squared multiplied by minus 2. Squared. Now you do what? Change the signs. Minus 1 plus 2. 5x squared. Bring down the next one. Repeat procedure. Step 1. Get your 5x squared and you divide it by what? X. And you get? Anybody? 5x. Step number 2. Once you find out how much it divides in by, what you do with the 5x? You multiply it by x minus 2 and you get 5x squared minus 10x. Step number 3. Change the signs. Take away 6x. Repeat procedure again. Step number 1. 6x divided by x. Anybody? 6. Step number 2. Multiply 6 by x minus 2. And you get 6x minus 12. Step number 3. Change the signs. And finally, what happens? 0. What's my answer? X squared plus 5x plus 6. Question 10, guys, had solved the inequality. So we're solving this inequality here. We're solving minus 5 less than less than or equal to x minus 3. Minus 4 less than or equal to minus 2. X element R. Now, I'm going to teach us a bit about inequalities. Okay, we'll start off. If I had this written down, 3 plus 2 is greater than 1. Everybody happy with that?
Yeah.
What happens if I multiply both sides by minus 1? Minus 3 minus 2, is it smaller than minus 1 or plus 1? Smaller than minus 1. What do you know has happened to the sign when you multiply the cross by minus 1? Changes it. Okay, so just bear that in mind. If I had something like this in the future, if I had 5x plus 2, less than minus 13, bring the 2 over the other side, less than minus 15, multiply both sides by minus 5x greater than 15, then divided by your 5, x is greater than 3. Be aware of that. Now, step 1 to do with this is to split it up into 2 parts. Split it up into 2 parts would be minus 5 is less than or equal to x over 3 minus 4. And the second part is x over 3 minus 4 less than equal to minus 2. First things first, does multiplying both sides affect inequalities? Let's find out. 4 is greater than 3. Everybody happy with that?
Yeah.
Sean, you good with that? Yeah. Pick a number to multiply both sides by.
Minus.
Oh, you're going to pick minus, are you? Okay, if you pick minus, what happens? If you pick minus, you have to change around the sign. Everybody knows that now. Any minus number. Multiply by any minus number, you got to turn it around. Let's pick another number that's not a minus. Pick me another number. 3. 12 is greater than 9. Did I have to turn around the sign? The inequality held its ground. Okay. So what I'm trying to get at here, guys, is that what we're going to do is we're going to bring the 4 over the other side, and we're going to get minus 5 plus 4, which is minus 1. Okay. Minus 1 is smaller than x over 3. What happens if we multiply both sides by 3? What happens now? Multiply both sides by 3. Minus 3 is smaller than x. Did I have to change around the sides when I multiplied by 3? What's the reason? We showed it earlier. If you multiply by a positive number, it doesn't affect the sign of the inequality. Does that make sense? Okay. I want to show you a different way of going about it as well, okay? Tom was asking me, is that not 3 multiplied by x? He's right. And you'd get 3x over 3. What is 3x over 3 though? Same thing as x. Okay, so that's the first question answered. Second question answered was Owen was saying, can you not just cross multiply? Now what Owen means by cross multiply, somebody asked me this the other day, what is cross multiplication and what is, so I think it was you and you were asking me about the fractions, alright? So I'm just going to go on a slight tangent for 1 second just to explain the difference if you don't mind. The difference between cross multiplying and doing a fraction is this. 2 sevens minus 1/5. We technically we multiply you can multiply the top and bottom by 5, don't you? Because the 7 wants a 5. That's the same thing as just bringing the 5 up beside the 2, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then this one here wants a 7 on the right up and above it. Same thing as bringing the 7 up there. It's like a cross. It is a cross if you think of it another way. But the whole point is it's not going across an equal sign. Therefore, it's not considered cross multiplication. What is considered cross multiplication is something like this. If I had 3x over 4 equals 5 over 6, I can bring the 6 up beside the 3 and call that 18x, yeah? I can bring the 4 up to the 5 and call that 20. That's cross multiplication. I can do this another way. It's the same thing as me doing this. Remember the way I do it. The 4 looks across at the 6 and goes, I could do a 6. So you go top and bottom with a 6. The 6 looks across at the 4 and goes, I could do a 4 top and bottom. 6 by 3x, 18x, 5 by 4, 20, divided by 24. If both sides are being divided by the same number, what does that mean about the top number? The top number has to be the same. Okay, not getting that. Okay, if I have x plus 2 over 5 equals 8 over 5. See the way the 5s are the same thing? Yeah? What does that mean x has to be? What number plus 2 gives you 8? So x has to be 6. If the numbers are the same on the bottom, you can just practically ignore them. See the way there's an equal sign there? The equal sign means because they're equal, one side is being divided by 24, the other side is being divided by 24. That must mean the top number has to be the same. Okay, you would have seen that a couple of times before. Now, back to the question about Owen's cross multiplication. We're talking about the cross multiplication, okay? And you move over to 4 and you get a minus 1. Owen is therefore thinking, why don't I bring the 3 up here? If you're multiplying by a positive number, Owen, you're okay. If that was a minus 3 on the bottom, what would you have to do? Turn the sign around. Yeah. Because you're multiplying across by a minus number. But because you're multiplying by a positive number, everything's grand. 3 is less than or equal to x. Everybody happy enough with that? What about the other one? Bring the 4 over to your side and what happens? Bring the 4 over to your side. What happens? When a 4 cross... Minus 2 plus 4? Plus 2. Am I allowed to multiply up to 3? Because it's a positive number. X is less than 6. What does this mean? Minus 3 is smaller than all your numbers. X, your numbers have to be smaller than 6. Does everybody understand the language of that? Yeah. Minus 3 is a smaller number than x. X is the numbers you want. X is a smaller number than 6. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to draw a line. Minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 1, 2, and 3. I'm about to do is 3 different answers, okay? The first answer I'm going to do is x element r. Everybody happy with x element r? Yeah. What does r represent, guys? What is r? Huh? R is the real numbers. Is minus 3 included? Yeah. Max, how does he know that minus 3 is included? It's there. No, because there's an equal sign underneath it. Less than or equal. See that? That's the equal sign. It means it's included. You put in a filled in dot because it's included. Yeah. This one is less than 6. Does that mean 6 is actually included? Yeah. No. It's smaller than 6, not smaller than or equal to 6. Smaller than 6 hasn't got the dash underneath it. Smaller than or equal to 6 has the dash under it. So 6 doesn't qualify. Because 6 doesn't qualify, it has a hollow dot. Everybody happy with that? Yeah. And you have to shade in all the regions in between. Why do you have to shade them in? Fractions and decimals are included. Do you understand? Fractions and decimals are included. Now, the next question. Imagine this wasn't x element r. Imagine it was x element z. What's the difference between x element r and x element z? Same answer, except this time you don't draw a line, and what else? 3 is included, 2 is included, minus 1 is included, 0 is included, 1 is included, 2 is included, 3 is included, 4 is included, 5 is included. Is 6 included? No. And you don't use hollow dots. You never use hollow dots. You only use hollow dots on real numbers. Do you got it? Yeah. Alright. Next one after that. That's x element z. X element z means negative numbers are included. You can include the negative numbers between minus 3 and 6. Imagine I change this question to x element n. What happens then? Are negative numbers allowed? No. Therefore, that's your answer. No negative numbers allowed. That makes sense? Yeah. Okay, we're good. Now, the next question was, in a Gaelic football championship in 2013, the attendance at provisional finals ranged from 21,274 to 54,485. Write in terms of x an equality to represent the attendance at these matches. You can have an attendance anywhere in between 21,274 to a maximum of 54,485. All we have to do then is this. 21,274 is your smallest amount. It has to be smaller than your number or equal to. And then your maximum amount is this much here, so your number has to be smaller than that. That's your answer for question 10C. Are we having 10C? Yeah. It has to be in between. Higgins, if I asked you for all the numbers between 2 and 10, you can write it this way. 2 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 10. If I ask you for all the numbers between -5 and +7, -5, and I'll put a stipulation on that. I want all the numbers between -5 and 10, or sorry, -5 and 7, but not including 7. How would you do that? Not including 7. This is including 10. Less than. Because you have no equal to. This means 7 is not included, but -5 is. Then if you rub out the bottom, -5 is no longer included. Okay, question 11. Yeah?
What's the name of the state the relevance set for x?
State the set of relevance. Set of relevance is what is your set of numbers. And this here is your set of numbers. Okay. Next one. Luke has money. He has €320 and it's made up of €50 and it's also made up of €10 notes. Now, he has 12 notes. X is the amount of €50 notes, Sean. X is the amount of €50 notes and Y is the amount of €10 notes. So let's put it this way. X is the amount of €50 notes I have, plus Y being the amount of €10 notes I have. I have 12 notes in total. X plus Y equals 12. Our next equation is a money equation. Money equation means how much money do I have in terms of €50 notes? It's €50 multiplied by the number of notes I have. The number of notes I have is X. And plus 10 times €10 multiplied by how many notes I have. How many notes do I have? Y. There are your two equations. I know a lot of you copped on to 5 and 7, but you didn't write down your equations and you sure didn't solve them. Okay? That's why you lost your marks. Next one. Pick a letter to get rid of to solve it. Part 2. How'd you solve this then? Anybody know?
Like you want to get rid of y, so you minus the top by
minus 10.
minus 10.
Minus 10x minus 10y equals minus 120. Underneath that, guys, 50x plus 10y equals 320. Take it away. 40x when you add directly downwards. 10y plus 10y minus 10y plus 10y. Minus 110, 20 plus 320. Divide by 40. 5. Okay. Next part after that. X plus y must equal 10. If x is 5, what does y have to be?
7.
Y has to equal 7. 5 and 7. Some of you got that right, but you got it right by guessing. There's no solving, there's no equations written down. That's why you didn't get any marks. Okay? It says specifically to solve the equation. My two equations, my answer for this whole question is x equals 5, y equals 7. Everybody agreed with that?
Yeah.
Also represented by the point 5, 7, which will be in here somewhere. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Now, this comes from the geometry part of the course, I'm afraid. So sometimes algebra and geometry aren't completely separated. So here's my two equations here, right? Now, does anybody remember how to draw a line? To draw a line, you need to find 2 points on the line. This is line A, this is line B. Line A, let's make x equal 0. Everybody got that? Go to line A and say x equals 0. When x equals 0, what does y have to equal? 0 plus 12 equals 12. So mark the point 0, 12. 0, 12 located here. Everybody got that? Next thing. Let's make y equal 0. When y equals 0, what does the x value have to equal? When y equals 0, x equals 12. That is the point 12, 0. 12, 0 is located down here. And what we know is to draw the line, you only need 2 points. Once you get your 2 points, you can draw them going into each other, like so. Okay, the next thing. We got to draw line B. Anybody tell me how to draw line B? Once again, pick a value for x. X equals 0. When x equals 0, what happens to the equation? 10y has to be equal to 320. Y must be equal to 32. This is the point 0, 32. Are you looking? 0, 32 is up, sorry, a bit further. 0, 32 is up around here. Do the same thing again, except this time pick y equals 0. So when y equals 0, what happens? 50x has to be equal to 320. What's 320 divided by 50, anybody?
6.4.
Is it? Yeah, I think you're right. Well done. 6.4 is correct. 6.4. Where's 6.4 located here? 6.4, guys? Just under halfway. And look what happens when you join the lines together. Okay? So you join the lines together, we're going to get sorry, quick adjustment there. Get around there. Now, do you see the point of intersection? What point is that roughly? 5, 7. X equals 5, y equals 7. So you can actually represent equations by lines, and where they intersect is where they're equal.